Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and for the first time in a long time, I just had some Frosted Flakes. I have not eaten cereal in quite some time. I don't really do the milk cereal thing much, but I have to say, I had Frosted Flakes and cereal like that, you know, all the time when I was growing up, but it was pretty good. I forgot how good some of that cereal is. Okay, moving along. Sean Michael sent me this at Michaels_Mr. And he sent me this. I think that this is a lot bigger than you really even think on the surface. Citi has scrapped its plan for a JPM coin-like bank-backed cryptocurrency. And what they're talking about in this article is how they were going to do something similar. They had been testing something similar to the JPM coin, and they decided against doing it. And I think they decided against doing it for a lot of the same reasons that Brad Garlinghouse and the people at Ripple said that it doesn't. JP Morgan coin doesn't even make any sense in terms of being a competitor to XRP. The way I read this, it didn't make any sense to Citibank either. I just wanted to read you a couple of things out of this because it's really, it kind of spells out for you, I think, that the way that Ripple thought, and that is that a digital asset to compete on cross-border payments with something like SWIFT is not going to come out of a bank, because a bank then will find itself trying to become a payment company, and there's all sorts of banks all around the world that would not necessarily use it. I mean, that's kind of the way I've looked at this too. Excuse me. All right, so just let me read a little bit of this to you, and maybe it'll come together in your mind the way it kind of did for me when I was reading this. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little excuse me. It says, after all, to completely change a cross-border payment network with blockchain-enabled technology, one would have to onboard all the world's banks. And then they added, if we are talking about cross-border payments, how many banks do we have across the world? And how many of them are already onboarded on SWIFT? And how long has it taken SWIFT to onboard all those banks? As such, Citi's blockchain strategy in recent years has been about finding ways to integrate legacy systems. Citi Connect didn't issue stablecoins, but the infrastructure that was used was similar to issuing coins on a blockchain platform. But it was purely to integrate a blockchain-enabled system on our client's end and make it connect to our legacy payment processes real time. Now, the way I read all of that is this last line here really kind of spells it out. But it was purely to integrate into a blockchain-enabled system on our client's end and make it connect to our legacy payment processes real time. I read that to mean that Citibank came to the conclusion that all they have to do is set up their system so that they can connect to things such as XRP. They can upgrade their systems internally, but they don't need a digital asset. They just need to be able to, for someone who is a digital asset that might do cross-border payments, to plug right in, and then the money could flow right through something else. That's the way I read that. And meanwhile, I think that they think that JP Morgan strategically has gone about this the wrong way. Time will tell, but here's what the overall big picture from my point of view is. Regardless of what all these banks do, including JP Morgan, XRP and Ripple are going to have some degree of success. And as I've said before, the people that run Ripple and the people that they're connected to, these are not people that are in the business of losing. These are people that are winners. And so what is a worst case scenario with a big group of winners in this? Well, I see a 10% worst case scenario. If you take 10% as the worst case scenario, everybody listening to my voice right now is probably going to do pretty darn well if you're already in this, because we're in at the perfect time. And so that's kind of how I've looked at this whole thing. Okay, moving along. And I also look at it like this guy's tweet. I found this tweet today, and I agree with what's being said here. This is Dan Rocky, at Dan Rocky. During last bull run in January 2018, XRP price was more than 10 times higher, and the XRP ecosystem was probably around 10 times smaller. Actually, it was probably around 50 times smaller. The XRP ecosystem has expanded significantly more than other coins. When herds are coming back to crypto, the effect on XRP will be much stronger than ever. And he's tweeting out this guy's tweet. So let's look at what this guy says. Last time XRP jumped above $3 in a few weeks' time, fewer people were involved in crypto, fewer exchanges trading XRP. We now have XRapid in use by banks, XRP payments for online content and video games, new use cases every day with Spring. I stand by $8 XRP 2019. I think that this is probably the lower end of what it could go to this year personally. I'm going to give this guy a follow. He follows me, and I don't, let me make sure I'm following the other guy here. Dan Rocky follows me, and I follow him. Good deal. These guys put out some great information here. I am totally on board. These guys, they're talking about how fewer people were involved in crypto back then. It's not just fewer people. It's a lot fewer people, folks. The infrastructure that is in place now in crypto versus last December when all this run up happened, it's not even close in terms of what we had then versus now. And I bet there's 100 more exchanges now than there were back then. I mean, it's crazy. When the thing goes off, you heard it here, it's going to go off like it hasn't gone off before. Okay, this is from Xmin XRP. At XRP 33, and what this is about is Visa. Visa is forming I think they've probably already formed a crypto team, but this was about a job posting. They're recruiting a technical product manager. It says Visa is building and strengthening a Visa crypto team by hiring staff equipped with crypto knowledge. And this is from the job posting, I believe. As a product manager on the Visa crypto team, this person will have responsibility for executing Visa's product strategy within the cryptocurrency ecosystem. The person should have great problem-solving skills and creativity to find new opportunities and anticipate how cryptocurrencies could impact payments. Product managers should possess significant functional knowledge of the cryptocurrency ecosystem and players involved, including in-depth knowledge around permissionless blockchain technology, as well as deep understanding of existing retail payment solutions, adding that familiarity with advanced cryptography is preferred. And then, anyway, at the bottom here, what's interesting is at the bottom here, it says, furthermore, Visa also announced to purchase Earthport PLC, which was also a Ripple partnered British fintech with acquisition deal amount of 198 million pounds. So Ripple's actually brought up in this article. Do you think that Visa's team is going to be figuring out how XRP can be connected to everything that's going on with that Earthport and all that? I mean, we've got some exciting times ahead for us, folks. This is getting very, very interesting. And what my thought when I see this, having gotten in this in 2013, folks, people like Visa, they were just rolling their eyes and laughing at crypto back in 2013. To see these things going on now and to know that I'm holding digital assets and I'm in a good spot and I've bought into this bear market and I've bought in at these awesome prices, I couldn't be more excited about where I am and how I've positioned my family to have a great future. I really am excited. Okay, next, and this is about, this was from CoinDesk. This was about win back. Bitcoin futures market's approval appears stuck in limbo. This is basically talking about the United States and how it's holding back from being launched and how. Anyway, I'm not going to read the whole article, but I did. Basically, I'll read a couple of these things so that you can kind of understand what this article is about. BAC was first announced in early August as Bitcoin trading and custody platform, but its launch has been repeatedly delayed. It submitted a proposal to the CFTC asking for an exemption which would allow it to custody the Bitcoin it uses to settle its futures contracts. While CFTC commissioners were reportedly given the proposal in December, it now appears to be back before CFTC staffers. It is unclear if or when the proposal may be published for a mandatory 30-day public review period. Until the review period has ended and the CFTC commissioners have voted to approve BAC's exemption, the exchange cannot launch its one-day physically settled futures contract. So basically, they're all just tied up in all these BS regulations and all this. I hope that in the end, some of these commissioners get their butts fired because what's happening around the world is things like this. This is from Sergeant Obi-Wan. French cybersecurity agency grants security certificate to Ledger Nano S hard wallet. So now the Ledger Nano S hard wallet has got this security certificate. They've been given the stamp that they are a safe way to hold digital assets. And Sergeant Obi-Wan says, wow, this is good. Yet another country putting forth effort while U.S. does nothing. I mean, I'm telling you, the way superpowers and countries that have traditionally been where all of the industry and where all the innovation is, the way you get beat is you get too big for your britches like the U.S. has now, and everything becomes slow, and you got to have a bunch of stamps of approval, and everybody has to stick their hand out and get their piece of the regulatory pie and take credit and all these things that don't matter. Over-regulation and overburdening government destroys innovation, and you're seeing what's going on. Meanwhile, around the world, from Malta to Switzerland to you name it, Liechtenstein, the governments are taking their hands off, and cryptocurrency and digital assets, the digital asset space is thriving. You've got companies literally leaving the United States to go build and in all of these other countries. Just look at Binance alone and what they've done. And it's all being done because they're going to places where there are not overburdensome regulations and governments. And that is how a country gets beat out by other countries. And so these United States lawmakers and these bureaucrats, someone needs to get to them and say, look, you guys need to get off of this thing. Let's get it done and let the innovation roll. It's unbelievable to watch, but that's what happens. These people that are these bureaucrats, they live in a bubble. They don't live in a world like you and I do, where we have to go out and we have to figure out how to provide for our families. They're in the protected class where they're getting their cushy government paycheck, and they don't have to get out there and scrap and fight and figure out how to make a living and do what they've got to do. They've got their secure paycheck, and in a way, a lot of people like that in those type of positions, oftentimes they resent the movers and the shakers. They resent the people like Binance's CEO that are out there becoming billionaires through taking risks and taking a chance. A lot of times it's resented, and that's another phenomena in this overburdensome regulation. But it's shameful, and it's to the detriment of the countries who are putting their businesses through that. It is not going to protect anybody. It's going to hurt the economies of those countries, period. From Scooter Braun, you have no idea what is coming. Now remember who Scooter Braun is. This is the guy His talent agency, I believe, represents Justin Bieber and several huge stars like Kanye West, who I called one time Kane West, and everybody laughed at me. That's how out of it I am with all that stuff. But anyway, he says, you have no idea what's coming. And of course, nobody knows what he's talking about. But this guy has been all over XRP. He's part of starting Raised in Space, which is one of the spring ventures to bring XRP into the music industry. So yeah, I do have Scooter Braun. The digital asset investor does have an idea what's coming, but I appreciate you reinforcing that enthusiasm. Okay, next and finally, I've been talking to you about Cardano and ADA. This morning I bought some more Cardano, some ADA. It says, is Cardano a sleeping giant? With ADA rising 25% in Q1s, the gains are expected to increase in Q2 of this year. Google is interested. Are you? Now, I want to look more into this because I didn't know about this. This guy says Google is interested in Cardano. But this video, she kind of is talking about this and how Cardano is like a sleeping giant. Finally, I want to show you this. Today, I have created the Vincent Wilson XRP Wealth Index, and I will be referring back to this occasionally as we go into a bull market. I thought it would be fun for us to have a Vincent Wilson XRP Wealth Index. And the reason I'm doing this is, but for those of you that don't know who Vincent Wilson is, back a few months ago in the comments section of most of the XRP YouTubers, there was a guy with the name Vincent Wilson, and he would come in and he had the same exact line. The line read something to the effect of 20,000 XRP will be life-changing in the next year, or something to that effect. Or he might use a different timeline every time, but it was always 20,000 XRP will be life-changing. And it became, I guess you'd call it a meme in the XRP community. And so I thought it would be funny to create a Vincent Wilson XRP Wealth Index so that we can all see how wealthy that Vincent Wilson is. Right now, Vincent is worth about $6,200 as XRP holdings. Vincent Wilson will become a millionaire at $50 XRP. So I'll make sure that we kind of go over Vincent Wilson's wealth from time to time. Just thought it would be funny. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that Vincent Wilson will be a millionaire at $50 XRP. Thank you for listening.